George goes behind Mary's back in Young Sheldon, Season 7, Episode 10 Synopsis. Things have been going well for Sheldon's parents after years of marital issues. This doesn't mean that they haven't had any kind of argument, but for the most part, they have faced small issues. Young Sheldon retconning George's cheating scandal has helped fix the image of their marriage. Unfortunately, some issues are coming their way ahead of George's inevitable death. Per CBS, via Futon Critic. Official synopsis for Young Sheldon Season 7. Episode 10. A little snip in teaching old dogs. George gets a vasectomy behind Mary's back. As it turns out, Sheldon's mother suddenly suffers from baby fever, and her husband doesn't think it's a good idea to grow their family, which has always been his stance. Read the details below. Why George's young Sheldon death needs to happen sooner rather than later. Young Sheldon cannot afford to further delay George's death. While The Big Bang Theory established that Sheldon's dad died long before the events of the nerd-centric sitcom, the specifics of it have been kept unclear. Young Sheldon could have gotten away with doing George's death off-screen. However, the upcoming George and Mandy spin-off series forces the prequel to tackle the tragedy, considering that the sequel will pick up after its parent show ends. While The Big Bang Theory established that Sheldon's dad died long before the events of the nerd-centric sitcom, the specifics of it have been kept unclear. There is no word on how exactly he passed away, but it is supposed to happen around the time that Sheldon finishes college, which will go down before the sitcom wraps up. Proof of how busy the prequel has been heading to its finale is the show's inability to focus on Sheldon's story. It has been dividing its screen time through multiple other plots, allowing it to delay George's death. With only 5 episodes left before it ends, CBS can no longer afford to push back the tragedy. Otherwise, it leaves the series little time for the young Sheldon characters to recover from it and set up a lighthearted send-off to the Coopers. Despite the shift in its storytelling in the last several years, the hit CBS show is still technically a comedy and should end like that. George's vasectomy may seem like a simple procedure nowadays. However, it's important to note that Young Sheldon takes place in the early 90s, which means the operation may still be prone to complications. Admittedly, it's an unexpected way to set up his death, and more than Mary's reaction to him going behind her back, it's safe to expect that the story's focus will be more on how this potentially leads to the end of his life.